How you doing out there, folks? Yes, it's me. This is the Invisible Man versus Merrick Bank and the Robot, Part 24. I know it seems like a lot. Maybe this might be your first time, viewing one of these. Well, I'll try to cover everything so you don't need to go back over all the other ones. I have been putting a song in front of them now in the beginning of all these different versions that I have about harassing phone calls. Well, the song I chose this time is Real Diamond. The music is done by George Liberace in California. He's the brother of the famous pianist. You've heard of him years ago, back in the day. Of course, yours truly wrote the lyrics. Over 40 years ago, I was an aspiring songwriter. That's when I met Marie, and these songs have a lot to do with it. Because the videos I'm doing now, what's it including? Marie, the attorney, about credit cards, harassing phone calls, and Merrick Bank. I've connected it all pretty much together. Okay, so this title is Real Diamond. It was one of the first songs that I wrote. And I wrote it for Neil Diamond, and I wrote some other songs for him because he was my favorite rock star back in the day. I said, okay, let me make up these lyrics to fit that title. So finally, I told the story and all in it, and now I had to trying to get the lyrics to him. So I looked it up. You can get information. A lot of the music companies, they give you who to contact. They give you those sheets, contact sheets. So I contacted his fan club. That ended up with the lyrics. They said, no, he's not taking outside material. Thanks for being a fan of his. I actually have that letter. I still have it from back in the day. I posted it on YouTube, so it's out there. And so then I tried again. I said, let me try his. It got to his attorney, and his attorney gave me a bad answer, not to contact him. For any songs or anything like that. And then I also, when there's a lot of concerts, in the city where I'm, living, and I sent out a demo with the lead sheets and all that. He never got it. The agent of somebody contacted me and said, thanks for interest in Mr. Diamond, but he's not taking outside material. And that was probably it. I just got disgusted, I said, well, it's a nice try. So I said, thinking about the lyrics. I made up these lyrics, but I was thinking about making these lyrics come to life by acting it out, like I said in the song. I said in the beginning of the song, if I had a real diamond, I'd be rich as I could be. Of course, if I had a lot of money, I could buy a real diamond. So I said, wait a minute, I don't know how I'm going to do this. So I picked an amount of money, $20,000 back in the day wasn't, it's a good amount of money. Especially for me, I'm living at home and all. I don't have expenses, so I was doing odd jobs and all. And then I got a full-time job. So I said, look, I can save $20,000. It's going to take me. It took me like 3 years. I saved it up, and then I know the jewelers downtown because I used to go down there for different things, for watches and different things. And I knew them for a while. So I went to this one and I told them what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a pretty good sized diamond, like the size of a quarter and maybe about an inch thick, and on a gold band. He said, I can do it. Yeah, I can do what you want, but how much are you're willing to spend? I said around 20,000. I probably shouldn't have said that, but I trusted him, and also I didn't care about that too much. He says, okay, I can do the setting and I can do it. He said, what about the size? You going to bring in your fiance or whatever to so I can measure it? I said, no, I haven't found who I'm going to give it to yet. He said, you're getting it now? I said, yeah. He said, okay, what do you want me to do? So make it the size that you make the most, because there is sizes that women's fingers aren't vary that much. He said, I'll make it the size I make the most. I can always fix it later on, don't worry about it. So take your time, there's no rush. And in the meantime, I said, I'll be looking for the girl in my dreams. So in between all that, I start going to clubs and, the girls at work and all where I was, but nobody really excited me too much. I didn't really see anything that I would just want to give them a ring like that. Anybody would want a $20,000 real diamond ring. The time passed. He's got the ring ready. So I went down. I made the arrangements with the money and all that. It was in a nice box and everything. Actually, he gave me a ride home. He said, "Frank, you're going to be carrying that ring on you, going on a bus or a cab or something." He said, I'll be leaving soon. You want to wait?" I said, "Yeah." And he gave me a ride home. That was real nice, you know. So I just spent $20,000, I guess. He could afford it. He told me if something happens later on, I could work it out with you. I could take it back. So time went on. I kept going to different places. I didn't seem to find anybody that had that spark that I'm looking for. So I had the ring in the safe deposit box, so it was safe. I didn't have to worry about that. So I just started to, keep doing my, I was doing all these odd jobs. And this one guy that was like a friend of the family, he asked me, "Frank, is a woman I know over here near you, she's having trouble with her TV. You think you could look at it?" I said, "Yeah, I'll give it a look." So he took me over, and he said, "Marie, this is Frank." He said, "Pleased to meet you. What do you want me to do?" And I worked on it, and I fixed it. It was just a bad connection. "Oh, thank you. I'm so happy." And I said, "If you need anything, let me know." And I gave her my phone number. And Marie kept calling me a lot, and I kept going there. We were getting pretty friendly, So I said, "Marie, you want to meet my mother?" Because she wonders where I'm going on the weekends and all the time, She said, "Oh, sure." So we went over there. My mother liked Marie, and they hit it off good, and they talking and all. And my mother asked Marie, "Do you want to see Frank's victory garden?" She said, "Oh, he's proud of that." I said, "Oh, I wasn't that anxious to show that." I said, "Okay, Marie, let's go." When I showed it to her, she said, "Oh, you got a lot of plants. You really have a green thumb." I said, "Yeah, I've been doing this for a while." I had tomato plants, pepper plants, cucumbers, all kind of plants. You could think of vegetables, all. And she noticed in the center, some tall plants. They're real green. She said, "What are those?" I said, "Oh, well, I guess you could call them a weed. That's the term, for pot, right?" I told her, "That's just a weeds. I'll talk to you about it later." Okay, we continued. We left, and it was the weekend, so I went and I stayed with Mary on the weekend. So in bed, she said, "Okay, Frankie, let me know. What is it? What were those plants? I don't like the way they look. They look kind of suspicious." I said, "Okay, Marie, I have nothing to hide. They're pot plants." She said, "Pot plants? What are you doing with growing pot plants? We want to get us in all kind of trouble. Now, why did you do it? Why are you doing it? Do you smoke?" I said, "No, I don't care. I don't smoke, period. I bought a $5 bag from a guy at work, and I got all the seeds out. And I threw them around, and they start growing. And I had the idea that I could graft a tomato plant with a pot plant. I tried it first. I took the pot plant, and I took where the growing spot was on the tomato plant, and I grafted it, the growing tip of the pot plant, but it didn't take. It started to wilt, and I tried to do it vice versa. It's about the same. I thought, if I work on it, maybe do it in the shade or try different ways, to do it, but I wasn't having any success anyway. She said, "Well, what made you even think of doing it?" I said, "Well, I grafted cactus plants, and they took, and it was fine. Did it all different kinds. I did it." And she said, "Well, you're grafting cactus. You're grafting cactus to cactus. Like a tomato plant with a marijuana plant." I said, "Okay, Marie, you made your point." She said, "What? You better get rid of them. So we're all going to get in trouble." So we got rid of them the next day, pulled them all up, threw them in the trash and all. And once that trash was picked up, we were both relieved. And, we discussed, all that, about that. We're glad. I mentioned it in I think it's the previous video here, at the other song that I had written based on those plants. But that was after this. We were getting along pretty good. And, I thought about this real diamond, and I said, "You know what? Marie stuck by me with all that, with those plants." And, she knew about them, and didn't seem to bother her. Knowing that, I guess because nothing happened. If I'd have got in trouble, sure, that would have bothered her. Okay, so I decided that I'm going to make her the girl of my dreams, because, we were really getting along good. And she trusted me, I trusted her, and Okay, so then I had the song. Remember, you're going to hear it. And the song is going to be acted out with our life, as we got together there. So in the song I say, part of it, when I wrote it, put on your most beautiful gown, we're going out on the town. You deserve the best, I'll take you to dinner as my guest. So, as we were going together, when I decided to give Marie the ring, I didn't tell her nothing about it. I called her up one day and I said, Marie, you want to go out on the town, put on your most beautiful gown, and I want to take you to dinner because you deserve the best. You'll be my guest. So sure, Frankie, I'd love to go, because we have favorite restaurants. So we went to the favorite restaurant, and while we were in there, after we finished our meal, I said, I want to show you the way I feel. Close your eyes and put out your hand. On your finger, I'll place a wedding band. And when I did it, Marie knew what it was, but she said, you said wedding band, but I never thought it'd be anything like that. But look at the size of that diamond. Is that a real diamond? I said, you got that right. And then she whispered in my ear, Frankie, how many carats is it? I said, it's $20,000 worth of carats. And boy, I want to wear it. It fits me perfect. I said, yeah, that proves you were the one that was supposed to get it, I guess. I said, I don't think you're going to be able to do that, Marie. That's a valuable ring. Anybody could knock you over the head for that ring, and I think it's better. I said, how am I going to do it? Just wear it around the house? I said, no. I got another idea. I can go back to the jeweler and I can have him make imitation, as you might call it, a dummy diamond. I'm sure he can make it exactly the same, to look exactly the same as that one. And then that one will go in the safe deposit box, and you'll be able to wear the dummy diamond. It'll look the same and all. So I said, okay, when we go back, I'll take care of it. It didn't take too long. It still wasn't that cheap, but I liked the idea, When I brought it and showed it to Marie, I brought both of them. She says, oh, they look identical. I said, I don't think I could tell them apart. I said, you wouldn't be able to that easy. Because a real diamond can cut glass, but a fake diamond can't because it's made out of glass. That's one way to tell. There's a lot of ways to tell if it's a real diamond. But I had the jeweler mark on the inside of the of the gold band. I told him to put an F for frank or for fake. So that way we could tell them apart in case it would get mixed up. Like now, we got to be careful. I don't want to put the fake one in the safe deposit box. So he seemed to like that, very happy, wearing it everywhere and all and showing it off. But it wasn't a good idea because what happened was she went to New York to see her friends over the weekend. I came back from work late, and what happened? I hear noise. Somebody's breaking in. I let him come in. I had a gun, and I held him there for the police. And then I found out later on, this guy was following us, and he saw the ring that Marie was wearing, which was the fake one. That's how good it looked. And he broke in, trying to break in there to get that ring. The police told me all about it. So after that, there was not much of a problem anymore. But I told Marie, be careful with that ring. So then, this is the song. Listen to the lyrics. Because I acted it out. Marie even wrote a book entitled Real Diamond. It's one of the 3 books she wrote. She wrote Real Diamond Book 1, Railroad to Prison Book 2, and Electronic Criminal Book 3. I guess I may as well plug her books while I'm at it, right? Okay, now here's the song you've been waiting for. And I'm going to try to start it up here. Oh no. I've got so much stuff hooked up here. Okay. Should start up here.
I'd be rich as I could be, but if I had your love, that would be enough for me. Whenever I look at you, your eyes sparkle like a star, lets me see you now. We're going out on the town. You deserve the best, so I'll take you to dinner as my guest. Now that we've finished our meal, I'll show you the way I feel. Close your eyes and put out your hand. On your finger I will place a wedding band. Real diamond may go from hand to hand, but the love I have for you would be the same in any land. I can tell by the expression on your face, this was the right time and the right place. This means we can start a new life as Mr. and Mrs. or man and wife.
Okay, that wasn't too bad, was it? Did you hear how it tells the story there? We can start a new life as Mr. and Mrs. or man and wife. And that's exactly what we did. So, because Marie liked the songs that I wrote and all, and I wasn't really caring about it. If Neil Diamond would have taken the song, we would probably never met. Everything would have changed. So I'm glad he didn't. I like my anonymity, and it worked out for the best. I still have the songs I wrote, still can listen to it. See, this whole thing about these harassing phone calls is that it's when I started with Marie, with these songs and all. But now this Merrick Bank is my end of my life with Marie. It was the last part of it. That was a very big part of it, of our last time, days together, because it was the last credit card we got and all. So you can see there's a connection here. So I'm going to go back with all this, the whole story that I've been saying all along. But, we were together all this time for 40 years. And, we combined our money all the time. We were working, both of us, at some time when we first started. And I paid the bills from the money, And everything was going all right. We had a lot of trouble with credit through the years, though, all the years. Especially me. But that's all past now. The last 8 years, I've been paying our credit on time. Our credit was the best that it had ever been so far. It was so good that Marie received this offer from Merrick Bank for double the credit line. This was in 2018. Oh, she was so happy and everything and couldn't wait. Filled out the application and all online and everything, and she was excited. It really helped her condition because she was suffering from that general anxiety disorder. She was taking medication for it, and she had other medical conditions and all. But she was like, her lack of interest was getting me, because I noticed that I'm trying everything I can, to try to give some interest, But mine wasn't that much better. So when she got that offer from Merrick Bank, boy, it really sparked her, It gave her like excitement and everything. She felt a lot better. It gave her something to look forward to, So I went through and all, and you have to make 7 on-time payments, and you get double the credit line. So after the 7 payments, the credit line went up to $1,200. If he was using it and I was using it, no problems at all. And she started to slowly lose the interest again and get sicker and all. We were going to the doctors every month, both of us, to get our medications and whatever. And doctor gave Marie an inhaler. That seemed to help because she had like respiratory distress. At this time, we thought it was bronchitis or something. That didn't seem to work. He gave her antibiotics. That didn't seem to work. I guess now they would think it's the coronavirus, I guess, because the symptoms she had and all were severe, But we know it wasn't that. It was respiratory distress. So I talked to Marie about it. She says, I'm not feeling too good, Frankie, And I said, well, I can only do so much here. I got aides, coming to the house and all, to help. So I said, I think we better get you in. So she agreed. And I got her in the hospital and all the tests and all. And they were really thorough. So they come out, what her diagnosis was, she's got dementia and the onset of Alzheimer's, and plus respiratory distress, anemia, low blood pressure, a lot of things. So they got different medications now, and they told me, the doctors, Frank, she needs to go in a nursing home because it's going to be a little too much for you. At your age, you're not young either for you to do it, even with the help, the aids and all that. Get her in a nursing home for the long-term care, and then hopefully she'll come back home, again, and be in better shape, And so I agreed, and Marie wasn't too happy about it, because she wasn't still feeling that good. So she couldn't do nothing about it, of course. It's up to me, I don't want to bring her home here like that. So, okay, so what happened? She got in a nursing home, found one nearby, about a mile from the house. I could walk it up and back. So that was good for me there. And then after the first, week or so, she started to, get a little bit better, with the treatment and all the medications, and she had therapy and all, but still not, not that good. And I noticed, in a few months, she started to get a lot better. After the first couple months, would you believe it? She asked me a couple times, "Oh, Frankie, by the way, you still pay a Merrick Bank?" I said, "Oh, sure." That told me she was getting a little bit better. The fact that she mentioned that, then she did. She was getting better at that time. She was looking better, talking better, feeling better, not coughing much, not congestion. That was the first 4 months. I said, boy, this looks like I might be able to come home if this keeps up, Nope, she started to take a turn for the worse. The next month she started, but it was gradual. It wasn't like one day to the next. She was still, eating and still getting around and all, but not, that coughing and that congestion. And I tell these people that work there, and they say, oh, no, don't worry, we have the doctor comes here all the time. There's a registered nurse and all here. They're going to notice it, whatever, and they would either get more tests or, change the medications or something. So that's not really your concern. I said, well, I'm sure they're going to let me know if anything happens. Because they used to call me for different things, And I noticed they weren't calling me, she was there longer with all the different people and all, that they have working there all the time. They're understaffed and all, especially on the weekend. So she started getting a little, still getting worse. So I said, well, it's getting towards the end of the next month. So I started going there, I went there a Thursday, Saturday, and a Monday. And she seemed about the same. That's what I was trying to see close together how she was. And the last day I saw her, we went in the dining room and I brought some food for me to eat. And she ate her food and I brought her some other food too that she liked. And we talked and all, and I got her back in her room. She seemed okay. I said, Marie, please, whatever you do, don't give these people a hard time. I mean, I know you don't understand everything that's going on. Try to eat, try to take your medicines, and because they can't make you. She understood. She said, yes, Frankie, I'll do that, So I went back in a few days, and she's in the bed. I went around lunchtime, and she's all like in a stupor, I thought maybe she's got too much medications or something. Because I heard that nursing homes, sometimes they'll give the patients more doses like that so that they don't bother them, to keep them quiet like that. By the way, I think it's a bad thing, I asked her roommate, she says she's been like that a couple of days, and nobody called me or nothing. Doesn't want to eat, they bring their food, they take it back, just wants to sleep like that. So let me see what I can do. I try to, get her up, do something. So when they brought the food, I asked the lady, help me up, crank her up, and got her up, and she's moving around. She was moving around a little bit. She's turning her head side to side, but she can't open her eyes, I'm trying to. So I took the food. It was, she's on a puree diet, so I gave her what I could, a little bit of everything, and then some water to wash it down. And she keeps drifting off, so I said, let me get her back down, get her comfortable, and she's, still, it's like she's just sleeping. She's quiet, she's not coughing or nothing. No, it didn't sound like any congestion, I could tell, It was quiet, so I figured, well, wasn't in pain or nothing, or she'd be yelling out, you know. So it just so happened I tried to massage her. I said, well, maybe I can still, you know, when sometimes you can wake them up and maybe she could get her to, you know, respond, but I couldn't. I saw, and she used to be at home like that. I would, you know, massage her feet and all, and she would respond. So I did it, and she said, "Stop that, Frankie." I said, "Okay, Marie, that means you don't want to be bothered. I'll leave you be, and I'll come back as soon as I can." I was actually going to come back the next day because I didn't like that, what I saw, you know. So I went home and I was kind of restless, and I, you know, tried to go to sleep. Phone rings at 3 o'clock in the morning. You know you're not going to get a call at 3 o'clock in the morning, very rarely. I looked on the caller ID of the nursing home. I said, oh boy. I was hoping that maybe they got her to the hospital, and at least she'd have a, you know, a chance there, you know. No, the woman said she just came on duty, the nurse, and she was doing the bed check and found Marie in that condition, and she said right away they start to try to revive her, and then they got the rescue, but it was too late. It seems funny because I was there earlier, 12 hours ago or so, and she was like that. Why didn't somebody do something? He said because they didn't do it. They saw she was breathing, I guess, and I found her like that, you know, the way I found her. It's different than the way she was. So I had to go along with it. I didn't like it. I made the arrangements and all, and I'm all alone now. No family, nothing. And I called the Social Security, and I said I'm supposed to get, you know, I didn't get anything because we, you know, we had our own money. We didn't go as married, you know, with the Social Security. So they asked me, you have a marriage license? I said no. They said, well, you can't get the survivor's benefit. It's $255. I couldn't even get that. I'm upset enough as it is. So I said, okay. I looked into it myself. They didn't tell me. I looked into it that I could get 2 letters, you know, write them up and say that from 2 people that knows that we were living together as man and wife, have it notarized and give it to the Social Security, and they would give me the money. But they didn't tell me that. I wonder why. They don't know that? People that work there? I might go into that later on again, you know. Back to this now. So what happened was, of course, the money got cut now. The money's in half because I notified Social Security, so that's it. We're both getting that. So now I don't know what to do. I'm upset enough. I'm suffering from emotional distress and economic hardship, of course. How would you like if your money just cut in half like that? Well, I started with the bills. I start notifying them, sending letters and certified letters and cease and desist letters and all. And it didn't seem to work because they don't have to abide by it. The debt collectors do, but not the creditors, unless they want to. Looked like they were trying. They stopped and then they started up again. So I said, I don't know what I'm going to do about this. I had so many calls. I was keeping track of them all. I had a phone log for each phone number. So I started looking online, and I looked up one of the banks that seemed to be calling the most, and it's this lawyer's name popped up. You know how they have a pop-up? You give a call, put your name and information, and let me know, you know, what if you're getting these calls. So I called him, and right away he answers me. And I told him what happened. He said, I'm sorry for your loss. I'm trying to help you as much as I can, you know. He said, I'm a consumer advocate attorney, so my main concern is helping the consumer. It looks like you really need help with all these accounts. I said, yeah, I don't know what to do. Gave him all the information, all the accounts, you know, and then he said, just do some and then we'll work on the rest. And by the time he got over, you know, all the accounts, he put litigation, some of them and all. I guess as soon as he notified them, all the calls stopped. But I continued to pay Merrick Bank for a few months. Continued. I figured, why not use it? I know Marie liked that account so much. It was like, you know, really a memory of her. That I, you know, remembered her with that account so much, you know. So I kept paying, and finally I couldn't pay. I figured, let's see what happens. They don't know nothing about it, Merrick Bank. So when the bill came in, I saw, late fee. We may send it to collection or something else they had on there. On the statement now. The other call started. First on the landline, I saw it. Merrick Bank come up with their number. I said, well, I know what they're calling about. It's got to be because of the payment, being late. So then there's the landline and the cell phone, both. More on the landline. I mean, one day I got 7 calls. 5 on the landline and 2 on the cell phone. I mean, that's a lot of calls. So I waited a couple of weeks. This was in November of 2019. I had the lawyer, remember that? That's what I was saying about having an attorney. Since pretty much everything was taken care of. And so I contacted him again, and I told him, he said, well, I need the phone log. He gave me a new contract with him. It just says in there, he represents me, and he doesn't charge for his service. Consultation is free, and he doesn't take any money, percentage if he gets your money. So I knew all that. I signed it, with the email and sent it back. When I got everything together, I sent it to him. He said he put litigation in, against Merrick Bank for making these calls and for contacting me about a debt that's not in my name. This card was a Visa card, and Marie was the card holder, and I was an authorized user. We each have a card. I showed it on one of the videos I made. The 2 cards, they're identical. You couldn't tell if I was the authorized user or I was the card holder by the cards. Okay, so then the calls, they stopped because I got the lawyer. They all stopped again, like I said, but it's important to keep that phone log. I had it for both numbers. Okay, so it's pretty quiet for about a month and a half. Exactly. So in about January 2nd, 2020, I'm starting to get calls from Merrick Bank. Oh no. I couldn't believe it. Because why are they calling? First of all, Marie's deceased. I don't think it matters in this situation. Because there's litigation, and why are they calling? And then it was just on the landline. Not on the cell. Wonder why. That's admitting already that they know they shouldn't have been calling on the cell phone, because both phone numbers are in my name. Regardless if that means anything or not. Only the lawyer knows this stuff. I waited a couple of weeks, a little more than 2 weeks. I contacted the lawyer. I gave him the phone log. I told him about it. And he already has the litigation in. There's no problem. He said, I'm going to reach out to them. And I waited about a week or so, and I'm getting a little more annoyed with these calls. Contact me again. He says, Frank, we'll make them stop. And the calls did stop. After I received over 80 calls, can you imagine? Over 80 calls, and they didn't even call on Sunday. Part of their tactics, Part of these unethical tactics that they use. That's what that means. Call you 4 times like on a Saturday, right? Then Sunday, no calls. Monday, no calls till Monday afternoon and evening, 4 calls. Now you mean to tell me that's not unethical? Wouldn't 1 call suffice, or 2? I think when it starts getting that many calls, like within a month there over 80 calls. I had over 60 in November of 2018. But that would really tick me off is when they start calling me in January again. I start looking into it, When we received the cards, there was a cardholder agreement, but I didn't look at it. I just stuck it in the file. I just looked at it recently. I read over the section. It's like, I think it's about 4 pages, printed on both sides. And they got like about 32 different headings, So I looked up the heading, I think it was number 22, about giving permission to call you. That they can call you. You've got to give them permission if you want them to, give you the credit. That's part of the stipulation. And it says in there that you can't do anything that if they call you on the cell phone or text messages or email or anything like that, that they're allowed to call you. So when you sign permission, when you agree and you get the cards and all, you mean you're giving them permission to harass you? That's what it sounds like, because they know they're going to do that. Because it says it in there, and they mention about annoying you or invading your privacy and all that. They mention this in this agreement. So they're aware of it, and then it mentions about the attorney. You contact us. They're saying, it's like you got to read between the lines. It doesn't say if you you have an attorney and we're calling you, we're going to stop calling. It doesn't say that. It says if you have an attorney and you give us his information and he doesn't contact us within 45 days, or we can't make contact with him within that 45-day window, then we're going to contact you again. Now, I know this lawyer told me he contacts them every 2 weeks. So there's got to be a disconnect there with Merrick Bank and all the things they have set up there. I think that this robo calling, I think they have it set up that if they're calling you and it stops like that, they stopped it, that it'll start up again after 45 days. If there's nothing noted or nothing changed there. That's what it looks like. Because why would they call me after I have a litigation against them? Whether it's Marie or me, it doesn't matter. I have the litigation. It's in my name. But I'm on the account also. So I think they were trying to retaliate against me. I don't know. It seems funny there. I don't worry about it. The lawyer has the case. It's pending. He may use that, like I said before, as a leverage. Let them know. You called him over 80 times there. After this litigation is in. What do you want, another litigation for those calls? Because the ones they made in January of 2020, they're also harassing phone calls. They use an auto dialer, but it doesn't apply there like it does on the cell phone. Because they says in this agreement that they can call you, with the auto dialer on the cell phone, leave text messages and emails. Now, why don't they text message? I wouldn't be upset with the text message. I'm surprised they don't do that. It's still the same phone number, the cell phone. Why don't they do the text messages? No text messages. They could do all the text messages, and I don't think I would be able to prove that was harassment as much as making all these calls. But they maybe figure out the text messages, they don't do it because they'd rather make the calls, because they know the calls are more effective, for the way it's set up. So I think that's part of all this is these calls. It's still these harassing phone calls. You don't have to take it. I don't have to take it. Nobody has to take it. Merrick Bank or any bank is not above the law. But they're bending the law and they're circumventing the law and they're doing it. Because the law says about those phone calls. But because they figure most people don't know about it. And they know the lawyers are expensive. And they figure for the ones like I'm doing now, like I'm had that litigation against them, they figure that's one out of only a few that do it. So that's the cost of doing business. So they figure they can just settle it, and that's the end of it, but they still keep doing it. They still got to be held accountable. And the only way is attorneys like the one I have, and for everybody out there that's being harassed by Merrick Bank or any bank, that if you, fight back and give them all these cases and all, they're going to have to stop those calls a little bit. They're going to have to tone it down. I know they can do it. There's all kind of programs and software, whatever you call it. Because, I know I don't like it. I know it's harassment. I know it is. Because if I know it's going to happen before it happened, I just didn't think they were going to call me after they called me over 60 times in November, 2019. I had the lawyer and all, and with litigation, I didn't think they were going to do it. But they still did it in January. That's unethical. I could see maybe if it was settled, the deal, maybe, and the account wasn't closed, they might still try to collect. There's something wrong there, I know that. And I know this attorney will get to the bottom of it and see what he can do, work it out. Because jury trial, I don't know if they want it or not. I don't care. As far as I'm concerned, I'd rather have a jury trial. I feel a lot better. Even if I lost it, the fact that I had the jury trial, that had them decide, because I know in a jury trial and something like this, look at me and you look at Merrick Bank. My situation and all, my age and everything, and the way they with all those calls I had to withstand. I think you should do something, You just can't let it go. Because even if, this attorney is good, I'll give you, the breakdown again. He's a consumer advocate attorney, and he doesn't charge for the services. It's a free consultation, and you're under no obligation or nothing. If he gets any money for you, fine. He's not taking a percentage. But he does get paid for his legal fees, and the court costs get paid. If we win the case. If we don't, then he's out. He didn't get paid for his service. So keep it in mind. I would give him a call. Now his name is Paul Mankin. That's Mankin. Number's 800-219-3577. That's 800-219-3577. Give him a call. You have nothing to lose and everything to gain. Now, if he stops the calls for you, say you're having this problem. I know people listen to this. Somebody out there is probably getting harassing phone calls from one of these banks. Because Merrick Bank is not the only one that does it. Debt collectors do it and all. So if you're having that problem, you don't need to withstand it. I'm telling you. But if you get this lawyer and you'll be glad if he takes your case, and the calls stop, you still owe the debt. It doesn't absolve you of the debt. Don't think, oh, well, now the call stopped, I don't have to worry about it. No, that's not the case. You do owe the debt. It'll be legally forgiven, and if you find out the statute of limitations in your state, and what from the last payment you made, like now, it doesn't count on this debt because it was in Marie's name. But all of the bills that I didn't pay, that I couldn't pay, when I first got the lawyer, well, less than 4 years from now, because it's 4 years in Pennsylvania, they'll all be legally forgiven. I just got to watch along the way that I don't make a mistake. One of these debt collectors call me for it, and they try to collect it, but I'm not going to make no deals. I know that what they do. They try everything they can. They'll say their client, if it's written off, but they bought it in a bundle, there's no client. They're the client, and you don't owe the debt collector the money. You owe the creditor that you got the money from. I know, I'm going to make no deals with no debt collectors, because they're scavenger debt collectors out there, and they scrape the bottom of the barrel to get all the debts they can. They don't care. They'll try to collect anything. Like, Marie's account here. That's uncollectible. She's passed away. They can't collect that. I mean, we're not married, first of all. We don't have no estate or nothing, no family. So they really can't do anything about that debt. All they can do is write it off. It's uncollectible. Now, if that goes in a bundle to a debt collector, they don't care if the cardholder is deceased. They don't care if it's written off. They don't care if it's past the statute of limitations. They don't care none of that. They breathe life back in these debts and try to collect them. And that's how they make their money. That's what you call zombie debts. They're the ones that do that. That's why I mention that all the time, because it's something to think about. Be very careful, because the debt collectors will do anything to try to collect the bill. Now, a cease and desist letter does apply to the debt collector. So if they're calling you, they're going to have to stop you. Just send them a letter, and you can write it. Just put cease and desist all communications with me, and that all communications means the phone and everything. And sign it and date it and keep a copy and get the return receipt. And now they're not supposed to call you anymore. Well, they could sell the debt to another debt collector, though. I've got called from different companies for the same debt over the years, but that will stop them. The cease and desist letter. They call it a drop dead letter. Well, that term is kind of crude, but it means you can tell them to drop dead, because they can't call you once they get that letter. Now back to these harassing phone calls. They're calling. You can say, what would you think if I'm telling you this now, and you're a reasonable person, and I'm saying I was called, over 80 times in 1 month? What would you think? Now, there's 30 days in the month. They didn't call every day either. Wouldn't you think there's something wrong with it? Even if I would have got 30 calls, it would have been a lot. It's just when they call, how they do it, it's repetition, And it's annoying, and if it's annoying, you're being harassed. I mean, Merrick Bank is just trying to collect their bills, huh? I don't know how much they collect out of it, because I still wonder, you can't pay the bill. Now, how is all those calls going to make it? What do they expect you to do? If they bother you enough, what are you going to do? Take a loan? try to get a loan or borrow from your family the money, rob a bank to pay their bank? What they want you to do, if you can't pay. That's what's that. Bring up all this stuff, and there's so many things involved with this. Anything with credit, I've been bringing it up. Because it's a shame. Credit is a good thing, but I don't say you abuse it. I didn't really abuse the credit. We used it and we were paying it over 8 years. All the credit we just had, both of us. I didn't have too much trouble with the store accounts. Those catalog accounts, they don't call much. They don't even charge a late fee. Back to this late fee, huh? They're billing now, and it went up. Now it went from $1,200 to about $1,500 now with the finance charges and late fee. So because they're keeping calling you, and that's going up. So you're owing them more money than before. Instead of trying to make it so you could pay them, they don't seem to care about that. Well, they call you. Like all them calls I got, not one time did a live person call. It's all robot. And that's what I say, there's no communication there whatsoever. To them, they want you to call them. They bother you enough. They figure if they keep bothering you, you'll call them. And all those numbers that they used, I think it was 6 numbers, they all go to the call center. They're all valid, so they know you can call them. But they're not going to call you, huh? Not a representative, huh? So after, like I say, I think when the late fee goes on, that's when somebody should try to contact you. Just make contact before they start the robocalls. In this case, if they would have contacted me, I would have answered it. I would have told them what happened. I kept trying to pay. Marie passed away. And knowing all the situation, they would have got a supervisor and would have probably told me we need the death certificate and all. And it would have stopped everything. They would have just have to write it off because they know they can't collect it. Then it wouldn't be, there wouldn't have been no calls. There wouldn't have been no litigation. There wouldn't have been no attorney. I wouldn't have been harassed, and I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing now. All that could have been avoided if they would have made the attempt to try to find out why you stopped paying. So they just figure you don't want to pay? Not that you can pay? They don't look at it that way. They want you, if you have any money, they're trying to get it, any way they can, and that's the way they're doing it. They have so many accounts that they can't do it on an individual basis. But they wouldn't have to, because they don't have to do all the accounts. They only have to do the ones that become delinquent, and then if they can't, then they go to the tactics, then go to the harassing phone calls then. I pretty much covered, mostly everything now, so I hope it helps you out there, because these calls, I know what it is. See, in my case, I knew what they're doing. As soon as I saw the calls, I knew right away. I expected it. But right now I have this litigation pending, and I got this lawyer that's helped me so much. I couldn't have got a better lawyer nowhere, and I'm glad I have him. Now, he is in San Diego, California. I'm in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, so that doesn't matter. So don't let that throw you, because he's already had settlements with me and stopped all the phone calls and got me even some money from some of the accounts. It didn't matter because I'm in Philadelphia and the bank is in Utah and he's in California. In this kind of cases, it doesn't matter, because most of it's going to be settled out of court. I want to see what this, the settlement's going to be here whenever, because I think they'll try to drag it out a little bit. Because the burden of proof, you have litigation like I have, but Merrick Bank, the burden of proof is really on them, because I'm the one going after them. So if they can't prove that they can't prove they didn't make the calls, because that's why I say the phone log. Plus, they are calling me about an account that is not in my name. The phone numbers are, which is against them because I'm the one receiving the calls. And they can't say, well, you didn't get the calls. How do we know you got the calls? Oh, yeah? I wrote the phone log. Remember that? How could I write that down and match their records if I didn't get the calls? And not only that, Marie couldn't have got the calls because she passed away. I got the calls after that. So I like to see what the defense is going to be on this. They may try to work it out, and they got to be held accountable. They may admit it, but try to work a deal, and it's up to the lawyer. And he's dealt with them before on plenty of cases, I'm pretty sure. So he knows how to work with them. I don't know. I have to talk to him when I get a chance. That, the fact that they started up again. He probably knows it didn't seem to surprise him because he knows how unethical they are. They'll do anything, They seem to get away with it. See, what happens is the consumer, we don't do anything. We're letting them get away with it, So it's up to you and me to fight it, Now, anybody can do what I've been doing. I'm a consumer advocate because I'm a consumer. And I don't like to see people be harassed like that. I know because I've had it happen to me over the years, And they're not supposed to call you before 8 a.m. or after 9 p.m. I mention that because they all know that, the debt collectors. Because if you ever get a call before those times or after those times, you have a case right there. I noticed I used to get calls, like imagine 8:01 a.m. local time. Imagine that. They can't call before 8 o'clock in the morning, but they can call at 8:01, huh? That tells you right there. I used to get calls at 8:59 p.m. at night. What does that mean? The last chance that they can call you? They want to call you early as they can and as late as they can. And that's another form of harassment, doing that. I don't know how hard it is to prove it. When you have an attorney that knows the laws and all, you got an advantage right there. Nice to have somebody like that. Just like now. Some of the accounts I didn't pay, a few months ago now, last year, that that they stopped calling for. Now I'm starting to get letters to say, and if I got 30 days to dispute the debt. I guess they'll start calling then, huh? I'm going to go over all that. There's something else I want to work on with that. Because I think if I contact them within 30 days, that debt collector, and tell them I want proof of that debt, they may just discard it or sell it another bundle to somebody else. Because I know it says right on this disclosure, it tells you who's the creditor. So it's telling you there that let them know if you want to know who the creditor is. They already put it on there. So a lot of this, with these debt collectors, there's so many things. There's one more thing I'll go over. I don't know if how long you've been having credit, or if you've had any times when you couldn't pay, and you got debt collectors hounding you is the word. I got not too long ago, I'd say a few years ago, all owing all these bills, and get a letter. It says our client, whoever it is, they say their client, which is not, because I knew the account was old. That had to be written off. They can't carry those bills like that too long. They have to. So it says on there, you owe $500. I'd like to make arrangements, but we'll give you a credit card for $500, and we'll give you another $100, so you'll have $600 you'll owe. And you'll have $100 to use, and if you pay it down, you can keep using it. So I called them up about it, because I'm kind of interested, but not really. And they said, oh yeah, if you pay it off, so they're going to get the money, right? They still make an interest on the credit card. If you pay it off, you'll have $600 credit. In other words, if you paid us all the money over time and you didn't use it, then the credit would still be available. It's not like you pay it off. I asked them, so suppose I paid it all off, then would I only have $100 credit? Oh no, you'd have $600. I don't trust them. I don't believe them. I wouldn't do it anyway. If I start paying it again, that'll start the clock running. So don't make any of those deals, even though that deal wasn't too bad. Of course, you know what's going to happen. If you can't pay it, they're going to start calling you. And it's back to the harassing phone calls. That's why I'm doing all this. Because I know for sure, with the amount of people that hear this, that I'm doing all the time, doing all these videos that I've been doing, I know somebody out there that might hear it now that didn't hear it before. Because remember, these videos are on YouTube and Twitter. I'm putting it on Twitter because I know I want to get to all the people there that way. And, they can view it or not view it. That's why I put this music in the beginning. Because I figured you could look at that if you don't want to hear it. And, you don't want to listen to all this about you're not interested in harassing phone calls. Fine. But at least I gave you, some music to listen to and a little background on it, so I'm able to that way listen to get my songs out there again. Get back to that again little by little instead of with all these videos I'm doing with these harassing phone calls. I want to go over a lot more things. There's things in other videos that I haven't done in this video. The main thing is the harassing phone calls. I discussed other things. I read the cardholder agreement, just a section about the calling. I may do that again. I may go over that again and try to get a little more detail with that, because I'm still checking into that, with a lot of things. And I think that's going to be about it for this video. Again, thank you for your time, and I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you got something out of it. Have a great day.